everybody, we're back. And let me tell you, Dr. Trimm just got me together. Okay. So listen, she got me together offline. She said, did you ever get the sequel to Commanding Your Morning? And I now realize why she's just looking at me like, what is she talking about? Like, she is still on Commanding Your Morning. And so, Dr. Trimm, I'm embarrassed to say I do not, because that first book was so good. It was life-changing. Good is not even an adequate word. Do you understand? I took it and ran with it. Women's lives were changed as a result, because I'm a teacher. I'm a Bible doing teacher. I'm not teaching you how to study the Bible. I'm teaching you how to do the Bible. So, right, this is over and above my education, my 2 earned degrees, 1 honorary doctorate, my coaching certification, me training $1 million producers and high level and high ranking, high profile women all around. I'm a Bible doing teacher, and your book taught us how to do. And so I'm sorry, I'm gonna get the book, but let me tell you what I really want to ask you. Now I'm at Unstoppable, and I really just want to ask you this question: where is the book club or the program for Unstoppable? Because we're signing up right now. Let's cut to
okay. I promise you. You know, I was sitting the other day. I've learned this new strategy in prayer. It's called Shaquat. And, you know, a lot of us, you know, pray, and we're articulate and we talk, but we never listen. It's the art of listening to God. And I spent 10 days fasting, shaquating, not saying anything. And I had the most awesome conversations with God. He just talked to me. And his mind is far greater than mine. His thoughts for me are far greater than mine. And he spoke to me clearly. He said, 2022, I want you once a month to teach women, just take women aside and spend a weekend with them and teach them everything about life you possibly can. And I want you to do it every single month in 2023. So that's what I'm going to be doing every single month. You know, and you know, a lot of people don't realize that Commanding in the Morning does have sequels. My niece was 17 and she was pregnant at 17. She lived with me at 17, and she lived with me for the first couple of months that the baby was born. And I began to teach her. I said, you know, nobody is responsible for your life or this beautiful baby's life. This is your responsibility. And I began to lecture. And then I wrote this book. And the book was Commanding Your Morning. So she went through, got her master's degree, started working at Price Waterhouse. And I told her, you will get absolutely nothing from me unless you read Commanding Your Morning. So she read Commanding the Morning, finished her degrees, raised her little girl. And she got promoted in Price Waterhouse. And when they would go into meetings, she said she would memorize the quotes from Commanding the Morning, and she would say it in the business meeting until they thought she was the most brilliant person. And she said she hid it from her family, she hid it from her friends, because she didn't want them to know she was stealing it from my book. So finally she called me and she said, look, I got all these promotions. I have actually run out of your quotes. Can you write another book? So that people don't realize that she was quoting from this book. So I wrote the sequels, and it's Hello Tomorrow, which is about vision, how to write a vision, the 12 areas. I take you 12 levels deep. And this is the secret to my success, that whole book, Hello Tomorrow. And then Goodbye Yesterday. And that's the sequel. So you got to get Commanding Your Morning, Hello Tomorrow, Goodbye Yesterday. You'll be all set up. And then Unstoppable. I have my book right here. And again, you know, mine is just to empower people to fulfill their purpose. And I always felt, this is my final statement, I always felt that the missing link in everybody's life is mentorship. And I asked myself this question, since I have such a burden, how can I reach all the people that I know is gifted and talented? And that's how I became an author. I became an author because I wanted to mentor the masses.
Wow. Well, first of all, mentorship is one of my all-time favorite things. I'm passionate about being a mentor. Already I've thought of 30 people I need to order your books for, in addition to the reading the ones I haven't read, because Dee is ahead of me. I haven't read any of the books that you mentioned.
Oh my
I got a lot.
You've been living under a rock.
I got a lot of work to do, but more importantly, like you said, it's not just the work that I have to do for myself. I'm constantly thinking about, how do you amplify this? How do you amplify this? How do you replicate this? And mentorship is obviously a key purpose of doing that. So I'm going to be lined up to order a bunch of books to give a bunch of mentees, both male and female, because again, this is not, you have a gender focused conversation, but the wisdom is not gender restricted. It really is the key to being resilient, being successful, being self-aware, being self-disciplined. And again, if your feelings cause you to change the habit, you're not being disciplined, you're just being stubborn. But if your discipline is what you do, no matter how you feel, faith is what you believe in, no matter how you feel, no matter how the day is going, no matter how the economy is going, no matter what the stock market is doing, no matter what the weather is doing. And you really laid out a real action plan and strategy during the course of our show, in an actionable, practical way, which both Dee and I are both passionate about. It's not just, oh, it sounds good. And I believe what you're saying is, okay, now what do I do after I've listened to Dr. Trimm talk on Be Lifted Up to actually take steps in my life to manifest what we all know is possible, because we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.
That's wonderful. I think the best thing that I can tell people where to start is to take me moments. That's 30 minutes a day. Paul said, this one thing I do. So what one skill is worth investing 1 hour a day in developing? And if you can develop that one skill, then within 4 years, you will be amongst the best, if not the best in the world in that area. You'll become a GOAT, the greatest of all time. If we can just do that one thing, what is that one skill that is worth investing 1 hour a day, that has the power to change your life financially, emotionally, spiritually, socially? What is that one thing? And you take me moments in developing that. The second thing is asking yourself every single day, which part of myself should I let go that I've outgrown, that has the power to undermine the next best version of myself? And let that part of you go. It no longer serves you. Let that go. And then the last thing is, you will absolutely live a life that is congruent to the 5 people that is closest to you. And so if you look at their lives, professionally, financially, that means if you want to know what your finances are going to look like 5 years from now, look at the 5 people that are closest to you and examine their finances. And if they're struggling, 5 years from now, you'll be struggling. What you can do is see yourself as a brand and build a trust circle around you who holds you accountable for becoming the next best version of yourself, for fulfilling the vision that you have written out for yourself, and then holding you accountable for not undermining yourself with bad habits. These are the things that you can do immediately.
Dr. Trimm, in the time we have left, what is the best way for our audience to continue to follow what you're doing? Like me, order your books, and keep up with everything from your monthly teaching sessions in the coming year. Just what's the best way for us to continue to stay in touch?
Cindy Trimm on all social media, and they're all blue checked. So they're all blue. So if you see a Cindy Trimm that doesn't have that blue check, then it's not me.
Listen, powerful, powerful, powerful. This is Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. Dee, this is, we could do another half hour as far as I'm concerned, easily, and not be done with this conversation. Dr. Trimm, just amazing. Just amazing.
I would love to show back up and be a part of what you're doing and support, the success of your vision. Would love to anytime.
Well, we have you on the record. This is Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. You're here. I'm here with DC Marshall, and we want to thank you again, Dr. Trimm, for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me. God bless.
Thank you.